actorly community, the actors in this town. I won't mention any names, and there are certain, I'm sure there are people who deviate, but generally, it is the epicenter of wokeness. And, you know, I love show people, but I always say, I'm in show business, I'm not really of it. There is a difference.
So here goes that word again. Guys, let me tell you something. I am so tired of hearing that word woke. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to this channel. And thank you to everybody who's watching. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Now, the reason why I say that is because it's like all the time I got to hear woke, this, woke, that, woke, this, woke, that. And it's like, bro, y'all still talking about it? Like, y'all still really talking about woke? You know? Okay, we get it. Trust me, believe me, we get it. Like, I am not one for like hardcore identity politics, though I do believe that identities are part of politics. But dude, like, this is all people have anymore. Everything just goes right back to woke. So this is Bill Maher, and he eventually gets, kind of, I don't want to say slammed necessarily, by his, I don't want to say he necessarily gets slammed by his guest, but I definitely feel like he does get like shut down a little bit because he goes back to his old ways. It's like everybody's just trying to stay on the right because right now the right is cool, and believe me, it's not as cool as people think. But let's go ahead and get into this clip. It's just, oh God, let's get into the woke.
Oh yeah, and they just, they're full on in. Let's say, oh yeah, on everything. So if you deviate from there, it's hard to find your place at a dinner. No one would invite you out. I mean, the right-wing types, or even the Clint Eastwood, who was a Republican, but not that far right. I mean, because he's Clint Eastwood, I'm sure people would still have him over, but they are just very clubby about the politics. Yeah. What I want to know is, does that pertain in the comedy world? Like, because you're a Trumper, I'm sure most of the comics are not. Is it? Do they treat you differently? Are you in any way ostracized because of that?
So here's what happened: is I moved to Texas during the pandemic when they triple closed everything in California, and there was no indoor shows. And I went and did a show outdoors at the Magic Castle, performing to people in cars, where the cars had to be 6 feet apart from one another. I swear to fucking God.
The cars are going to give it to each other?
Swear to fucking
man,
God.
That was a terrible disease.
Oh, Bill. And they gave people these clapper things, these little New Year's Eve noisemaker shaky things.
I thought you honk your horn when you like it.
I'm surprised they actually didn't think of that. But they gave people these noisemakers, and they would hold them out their windows, and it would go clack, 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 clack,
Your
clack.
car has a noisemaker built into it that sounds like a horn. It's called the horn.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But even still, funny, for 6 months, when the horrible forever flu happened, I did the monologue right over there. Yeah. We had, this room was all, the pool table was gone, everything. This was the studio. Where I did that. Then I did the editorial out there sitting on the lawn. We did the show here for 6 months. Some ways it made you more creative, but it was to do a monologue here. I wanted to keep the show as close to what it really was. I put on a suit and tie like I always had. And we had funny, cutaways to old audiences laughing, which was, people loved that.
Right, so they kind of go into what happened around that time. The same thing that, and by the way, like, I don't know, I just feel a little like not disenchanted with people, but I think it would happen again if it needed to happen. Like what happened with the big cough, that's something that was successful for the people who needed to see how successful it could be. And I think if need be, they could always go back and do it again. I always think about that seriously. But they are talking about some serious stuff. That is so true about, like all of these stupid, the cars have to be apart. But people did it. So who was dumb? Was it the people who did it or the people who came out with the stuff. But trust me, it's about to be after they talk about this. But then Bill Maher does do his usual like switch up.
Bit, and we had a laugh track. You know, I would do the joke here, and then they would play, and I got through it. But I used to just walk out of after that taping, and of course I live, you know, next door, so I'd walk home and be like, I was so depressed, like, because usually after the show there's a little party and blah blah, and then I was just like in the silence of my house, and oh yes, we can't go out. And it was just like, and look, there are diseases in the world that I think might merit that are that dangerous. I just never thought it was that one.
Exactly, 100% with you. So not only was I doing these stupid outdoor shows, but just like you were saying, I'm the only person I think that I know that has a weekly live show in front of a live audience for 12 years every single week.
Right.
So what we had to do, because I do a show where I pull a comedian's name out of the bucket. They do a minute of stand up and then I interview them.
I see it.
So we ended up, you want to talk about fucking depressing. We ended up having people send in their minute sets. They're in their living room trying to do stand up comedy. We had no laugh track, no recorded audience sound. So we're watching people do their sets, and then we would Zoom with them for the interview part. So how's it going? Well, not much of anything happening. Just been in my house playing video. Every interview was the same. Everything was the same for 6, 8, whatever months during this thing. We had no live audiences whatsoever, especially when you're used to that every single week, like I'm sure you were. It's just, you go through the craziest withdrawals. So when I went and visited Texas, and they fucking have them indoors and the place is packed and there's no separation. I'm like, what the hell? And I
had the same experience going to Florida.
Yeah.
The first set I did when they let us. And it was like, oh my God, I remember what freedom felt like.
Exactly. And the day, I joke you not, and this is the thing, because I would argue that we're more center than left or right. I think you'd probably be shocked.
I would argue that none of these words mean anything at this point, because, you know, everybody's just whatever they want. Nobody's focusing. Look, really on America. Here's something, right? Like when I say, and I keep it real, when I say I don't want any more immigration, because right now I just don't think that we can take any more. I fully believe in citizens having the first rights to things. Yes, I do. And I just feel like that we don't have it right now to be taking care of everybody else. I mean that across the board. But right now I see MAGA is excited about Afrikaners coming from Africa. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, why? Because they're white. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's like, it's everybody's out for themselves. These names mean nothing to me. They mean nothing to me. These labels, they mean nothing to me. They really don't. But have at it.
To know how at least from my perception, centrist we are. I've been watching you for my whole life, by the way. My mom always made sure we had HBO, even though I was raised poor. So I kind of get you, and it's crazy that I'm considered a right winger, or that Rogan is, or that Elon is, and these people.
Anybody. I'm sorry, but anybody who is a Trumper, it's a different mindset that, you know, he'd have to be extremely different to get me over there.
Right.
And he knows that. I mean, a lot of this stuff is just way too insane and too far out there. And again, talking about a third term, this stuff is just intolerable.
I think he's goofing around when he talks. I think he knows how to joke a little bit.
That was my editorial 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Like, once it starts out as a joke, and it's not a joke at a certain
He's not
point.
going to go for a third term.
Yeah, and he's not. And Bill goes on to say that he's not going to go on for a third term. But you see, it's always the same, like, arguments. The Trump is going to go for third term. Like, man, we got bigger issues. You know, like, there's bigger stories happening in politics. And they still want to have these type of, like, 2020 arguments of, you know, Trump is going for a third term, and, you know, And oh, woke trends in school sports, and it's like, oh my god, like there's just so much more out there. But yeah, these conversations are just lame. And Bill still tries to say, "Oh well, he's not a Trumper because Trump is going to go for a third term," but then he knows he's not going to go for like you. I'm pretty sure you voted for Trump in 2020. Excuse me, 2024, not 2020, because especially the stance he took with Israel. So there's that. But at the end of the day, and that's probably why he's talking trash about him now, because well, depending on when this video came out, when they did the sit down, because Trump lately has been having this whole thing about like, oh, I'm going to move away from Netanyahu, which is really odd that he's saying that. So the Zionists are not happy about it. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, it's just the same old, y'all. But we put our own twist to it, and we still make the content.